The Broncos kickoff unit out there to kick this one away. From his end zone, here comes Carter. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. The New York offense taking over for their next possession. They find themselves in a good-sized hole here, and a good-sized hole early on in this game as they come up on first down. Now Hall to start the drive. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. He was solid last week, over 100 yards in their victory on the ground. They want to get that going again.
Absolutely. What they also understand is that from week to week, it's not necessarily the same, but they want it to be, right? What they saw last week on the ground, they want to see in this game as well.
2 yards the loss, and now they go from 2nd and 2 to a tough 3rd and 4.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. Able to complete this one to Tyler Conklin. And he is going to have a Jets first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
You can almost hear the sigh of relief coming from their sideline and from their point on the field, because this has been a tough start for them thus far. A much-needed first down there. They needed something good to happen. Plays like that will continue to help them dig out of this hole.
And this time they were waiting for him as he'll be knocked down before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. 14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports.
Here we go.
2nd and 12. Wilson. And the timing a bit off that time as that one falls to the ground.
They've given him some different looks here defensively in the early going. He's only hit 2 of his first 5 passes. With a big 3rd down coming up, he's hoping he's got a play dialed up that can take advantage of whatever the defense throws at him.
And the Broncos get there and take him down. These sacks now, they're starting to pile up, Charles. And that front 7 defensively, they had their way with this offensive line.
And I think at this stage, we have to start thinking about different play calls. We've got to start helping this quarterback out because the entire game he's been under siege. I don't care what the down and distance. They've got to get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker.
It's a 40-yard punt, 4 yards on the return. And the Broncos take over, first down and 10. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here, they could really put them in command before intermission.
Yeah, and it's all well and good what they're seeing and how they're feeling right now. But it's the NFL. How many times have we watched 14-0 leads evaporate and quickly? So how have we seen them combat it? Continue to run your offense, but don't back off at all. Don't start looking at the clock. Don't start thinking about, hey, just take care of the football. Keep attacking. Usually the best way to maintain control.
From the 39, Wilson. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
As a corner, you have to be able to run with guys step for step downfield in man coverage and make up ground quickly in zone. You have to put yourself in position to make plays, just like that one we saw there.
On 3rd down, Wilson. And that's going to be incomplete. The coverage too good there. The contact popped the ball free, and it's 4th down. Here's Tommy Townsend on to punt. This is away and a very good kick, angled for the sidelines. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. The New York offense taking over for their next possession. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Wilson smart to take off and run with it as he's able to pick up the first.
That's the first time he's called his own number, but he's got to be overjoyed with the result. He wasn't just going to settle for a modest gain. To me, he was determined to come through with a big message to a defense that slept on him in the pocket.
Hall want to give up the middle. Yeah, boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Now they'll throw it with Wilson. Under pressure, and down he goes. Nick Bonito. That is now 2 sacks for him here in this first half. So that now 4 first-half sacks. This pass rush has been unrelenting.
And partner, you hear that sound of paper being ripped to shreds? That's the game plan that they've had so far because they've got him.
Under pressure, they got him again. Nick Bonito. 2 plays in a row now that he has gotten in there for the sack, and it brings up 4th down. Now the Jets send on Braden Mann to punt. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And returning it, here's Hamler. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. No points last time out. They were forced to punt, if you remember, but no time to dwell on that. They've still got the lead here and a chance to add to that here. 1st and 10 as this new drive starts. There he goes, left side. And all the way home for a Broncos score. Russell Wilson with 2 first-half touchdown passes. And the Broncos are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. McManus's point after is good, and it's now 21-0. The Broncos kickoff unit out there to kick this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The New York offense taking over for their next possession. Well, CD, you kind of feel like they're in a bit of a danger zone right here because now you're down 3 scores, and I know we're in the first half, but the way this offense, that's into a crowd and intercepted. Picked off by Justin Simmons. And the Broncos are going to take possession of the football. Boy, we've seen a lot of mistakes here in this first half, and another there on the interception.
Yeah, they're certainly starting to pile up, aren't they? Because, let's face it, we expect a miscue here and there, but they're already down 3 scores and still giving the ball away. If they want to get back into this one, they've got to take care of the ball because right now the way they're playing doesn't say a whole lot for their chances.
A short gain of just over 2 yards as the first half clock dips inside of 3 minutes. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. On the counter, here's Williams. And he's able to motor his way down to the 16-yard line. That one going for a gain of 11 and a Bronco first down. They went counter there offensively, and a couple of defenders were on skates for a second.
They certainly were, and you know what offensive linemen love about the counters and the misdirections? Sometimes you don't even have to block the defender. He can run himself out of the play if he doesn't read his keys properly.
So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. Now the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down. They try the left side here with Williams. And he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. 2 yards on the carry there, and it's going to lead him to third down. Pretty good job defensively. Thought he was going to get it, but they knew where that marker was, and they stopped him just short of it.
What it does is emphasize that strategic football and situational football is not just played on the offensive side, is it? Defense understanding, as you noted, where the first down marker was and making sure they didn't get there.
The gain of 5 that time gives them the conversion and makes it 1st and goal.
Just about every coach we talk to says the crowd shouldn't affect us. That shouldn't be an issue. And in the next breath, they talk about taking the crowd and taking them out of the game by picking up first downs and keeping them at bay. I think we just saw an example of that there, didn't we?
Important to do, especially early in the game like they have. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
And that's what I'd like to see out of this defense, a little fire, a little toughness. It hasn't been the best first half for them, but they did do a nice job there forcing a loss on that play.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down.
That's a nice example of good team defense right there. Ball was snapped at the 1-yard line. They knocked them back and caused a loss. But you notice they were trying to find any type of a gap to run through. Wasn't one available, and they stopped the play right there in the middle of the field.
The Jets are going to use the first of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. The kick by McManus is good, and the route is on. It's 24-0. So they get the turnover in plus territory. The drive stalls out, but still able to get 3 out of that.
Yeah, we were able to see an offense and a defense kind of mix and match with each other, didn't we? Both of them trying to make sure that they had the upper hand and the advantage. Offense trying to get to the end zone. Defense, of course, trying to hold them to a field goal attempt. And it wasn't a guaranteed lock 3 from where they started. So, you know, the offense has to be happy to come away with those 3 points.
Open man here is Conklin. Now another timeout called for by the offense, as it comes with 22 seconds to go here in half number 1.
And I don't think there's any question that this offense is going to need to hit on a few more plays like this. It's been a difficult first half for them, to say the least. And I do believe if they want to get back in this game, they need to start right now. It's kind of like making adjustments. If you try and wait until the half, it's probably too late. They need to get going right here.
The Jets going to go ahead and use their final timeout. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. To throw is Wilson. That's complete. It's Elijah Moore. Oh, he's brought down. And remember here, no timeouts left. They got to get to the line quick. So with 1 second left in the half, on is the field goal unit. This is a 49-yard attempt, right hash. And this one is no good. He missed it. And the deficit will stay at 3 scores. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. Broncos with a lead, and they will be receiving this kickoff here as quarter 3 is underway. Fielded just outside the goal line. Oh, a good-looking return set up here. He's at the 40, 20, 10, 5. He will score. Touchdown, Broncos. Well, they're just having fun. I mean, they are clicking on every single cylinder, offense, defense, and here, special teams.
And how about the extension of the lead? This one felt a lot like, you remember Seattle-Denver Super Bowl 48? Percy Harvin to start the second half. Seattle was already firmly in control. Now, they feel like they can't be caught.
Yeah, they are firmly in control right now. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The New York offense taking over for their next possession. CD, they certainly know the hole that they face as they begin the second half. They have to do what precious few teams have done in NFL history, and that's try to come back from a 4-possession deficit.
And, partner, you know, as that team gathers, they're saying to each other, you never say never, right? Because if you're on an NFL roster, that's how you have to think. You can always come back and win a ball game. And let's face it, we saw a certain Super Bowl, a 25-point lead late, that wasn't enough to put someone away. But that being said, this task is near impossible. Let's face it. And bottom line is, it officially becomes impossible if this possession is an empty one.
Straight ahead is Hall. And a 6-yard gain gets him right around the 43.
He's had a ton of success here so far, but you get the feeling that he might be on the verge of popping one.
Yeah, even on that one, there was a little bit of a hole, but it closed there quickly at the end. Hall again on second down. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. And that's on big Mekhi Becton, first-round pick in 2020. They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. Hall again on second down. The gain of a yard gets them back where they started. Now it's 3rd and 10. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
Throwing is Wilson. And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far. Picked off by Jordan Lewis. And the Broncos are going to take over a couple of yards shy of midfield. Well, to be blunt, not a whole lot has gone right for this defense in this ball game. But that's something right there. Still in the 3rd quarter. It would take something around miracle territory for a comeback, but maybe that's a start, Charles.
It certainly is, and they're definitely showing that there's some fight still left in them. Hasn't been a banner day, but they're trying their best to put that disappointment behind them and find ways to make plays.
Give them 32 on the play.
They started this drive with terrific field position, and it's going to get even better after that play. Had great options with where they started, so they decided to press their advantage, and it paid off.
So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Looking for his receiver, Sharp, and it's intercepted. And the Jets are going to take over at their own 30-yard line. Well, still throwing here with a big 3rd quarter lead, but that time this defense gets a measure of revenge.
One of the few positive moments they've had on either side of the football, really. Things have definitely not gone their way, but maybe their offense can seize on this and put some points on the board.
Yeah, boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a force of nature at the defensive tackle position. Yes, he's as big as they come, but still plenty agile. He's able to make a nice play there to swallow up the ball carrier.
A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
Well, they certainly aren't letting up today, partner, because they've forced big turnovers already, and it's been incredibly tough for them to get yards against, let alone put points up on the board.
Now it's Wilson. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. And the Broncos are going to take possession of the football.
Well, it certainly feels like this defensive group has figured this guy out to the tune of a big lead in this one. And you know that he's frustrated with how this game has gone. And now with back-to-back interceptions, he's got to find a way to get out of his own head and start making better plays.
And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain there as he kept it himself at 2nd down. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. That's complete. It's Okuwebunam. And he'll be brought down at about the 23-yard line.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end, Now it gives them a much better opportunity to convert on third down.
From the gun on third down, Wilson. Caught left side, Williams. And he's going to be brought down at about the 16.
I'm not sure that was necessarily a safety valve or a check down throw on third down. Sometimes just try and find the open guy and get him the ball. He did exactly that and found a way to pick up a first down.
Now a 10th carry. Here's Williams. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. It's a nice pickup of 12 yards, and it gives him a first and goal. They'll try and run. This is Williams. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Denver score. Javonte Williams with his 4th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Broncos take advantage of the field position on the turnover to cash in for 6. Extra point from McManus is good. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. The Broncos kickoff unit out there to kick this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The New York offense taking over for their next possession. Well, we're still in the third quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable. Now, a win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
4 yards remain for second down. From the gun, it's Wilson. Again, he finds more. And he'll be brought down on the other side of midfield at the 43. And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the third quarter has come to a close. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. On the draw, it's Hall. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there. I'm going to tackle this guy. By the fourth quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down fourth quarter. Yeah, the pressure comes, and Wilson's going to go down. A well-designed corner blitz that gets him for a loss of 8 yards.
He already did his primary job with an interception earlier, but here he gets a chance to be a pass rusher and takes on the challenge of blitzing and makes another big play. That's something to file away and maybe bring.
Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out. Fumble. Offensively lucky they're able to keep the football, but now fourth down, so they'll have to boot it away.
I do think, though, they're going to look at this as a positive. One, they recovered the fumble, so they retained possession. But two, being able to punt it changes field position for them. Imagine if that turnover takes place there. Now your defense has to go onto the field and try and hold. Instead, they get a little breathing room.
Here we go. It's Wilson on fourth down. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. The Jets try it, but the fourth down play doesn't work. And this defense will take over right near midfield at the 49-yard line. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. Been a very strong performance for them, really, on both sides of the football. The turnover on downs the most recent example, and now, obviously, they're in a great spot here.
Yeah, if you're over on the bench right now, you're shaking hands with your teammate, you're hugging him, give him a little dap. Been a big, big performance for them. Now you just don't get careless. Take care of the ball on the way out.
To throw on 2nd and 10. Wilson. He'll get that complete to Albert O. And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination.
Touchdown, Broncos! Making a hat trick for Russell Wilson. 3 touchdown passes now. And the Broncos are closing in on a 3rd straight victory to start the campaign. McManus's point after is good. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. The Broncos kickoff unit out there to kick this one away. From his end zone, here comes Carter. The New York offense taking over for their next possession. I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the 4th quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while, but everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
Throwing now, Wilson on 1st down. Throw left side complete. That's Hall. And they're going to get this up to midfield. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down. Out of the gun, they run it with Hall. Oh, he's got some breathing room. And all the way in. Touchdown, New York.
I guess when you look back on it, it was just a matter of time until he popped a big one like that. And, you know, at halftime, you and I discussed it. They had done a nice job on him in the 1st half. But there were a couple of occasions where it felt like he might wiggle out of traffic and take it to the house. Finally here in the 2nd half, that got done.
Extra point was hooking, but he does make it through as they make the score just a slight bit more respectable here in the final quarter of play. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And they've got to be feeling very comfortable and confident here with this lead in the football here in the 4th quarter, Charles. And I don't think that they need to score again, but it seems like this offense is just getting better as the game goes on. They've scored on their last 2 drives.
Certainly feels like a chance for them to continue to have some fun out there, doesn't it? Game's already decided, as you noted, so they can continue to play loose, break out some other concepts, maybe run a few trick plays, get other people involved. Heck, even go deep on one of these first snaps just because they can.
Here's a 2nd and 2 now from the 33. Now we give up the middle to Williams. And he'll be brought down right around the 37. A gain of 5, good enough for the 1st down.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up a 1st down. Keep the sticks moving.
Coming up on the final 2.5 minutes. And boy, has it been fun to watch this offense operate. Quite the display, and now they look to polish it off. On 1st down, nothing opening up really on the running play. Give him maybe a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. They'll try and run down some clock with Williams. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. That's going to go down as a loss of 5, and it brings up 3rd down.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. Pressure comes, and Wilson's going to go down. And the defense coming through on 3rd down, a loss of 7 to bring up 4th. On is the punter, Townsend, as he gets this one away. Good coverage there, holds him to just a 2-yard return following a punt of 44. And the Jets will take over 1st and 10. The New York offense taking over for their next possession. Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for...
And my goodness, another interception. And the Broncos come up with a late turnover, but it will probably only matter to the statisticians as this ball game is now officially over. Charles, a lot of happy faces heading into the tunnel as this one ends, and understandably so. Not only did they get the win, but, boy, their offense was on fire in this ball game.
And, partner, I have no idea what the top speed is on one of those high-end sports cars. What's the top gear you can get into? This offense, they certainly were there in this one, huh? Everything clicking for them in this contest, the kind of performance that they're going to cherish.
So for the Broncos, it's an ideal start as they move to 3-0 now on the young season. And they will head home next week to take on the LA Chargers. Meanwhile, for the Jets, they'll fall to 1-2. And they'll be on the road next week for a matchup with the Baltimore Ravens.